Howdy do, everybody, or should I say, bon qui qui, je m'appelle Yellow. I think that's how you say Dylan in French. I don't even know. But anyway, welcome to the Backlash review. Sorry, my phone's apparently ringing in the middle of this. Let me just answer it real quick. Hello? Uh-huh. What do you mean? It's June now. Okay. Well, I guess perfect time for King of the Ring review, right? What do you mean King of the Ring was like 2 weeks ago? What do you mean I haven't uploaded in a month? Is this 2020 all over again? Okay. Well, I guess we'll do a Raw review then, specifically for May 27th, 2024? I didn't just look at my calendar, you did? Okay, bits. Filter. Alright, now that looks a lot better. So, yeah, like I said, I've been wanting to have a little intro for a while now, so I just literally threw together something while editing this. If you want to hear any of the songs used during these bits, I will have the links down in the description below for them. Also, during this episode, I'm going to try out a new thing where I'm going to run the articles / the news for the week of the review kind of across the bottom. So not like this week's news, but the week whatever we're doing the review, it'll run across the bottom, or at least that's how I normally want to do it. So this week I decided a lot of the news centered around AEW Double or Nothing, and considering the fact I probably won't review an AEW pay-per-view considering you gotta pay for them, I'm just gonna spoil the results of the card, maybe some debuts and or injuries, and one or two little news articles involved with it. I figured this is a good compromise if I never do the weekly news thing again because it gets too crazy for me, but hopefully I'll get back to that as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Just a disclaimer, I guess the previous one was, for some reason Hulu is only recording the hour and a half long version instead of the full version for me. So, unfortunately, we may have missed some content. My apologies if so. Alright, enough about me, though. Let's get into that Raw review. Watch that get me copywritten one day. Episode starts off with a King and Queen of the Ring recap. No spoilers for that, just in case I review the event next year or eventually or whatever. Anyway, then after that, we see Liv arriving and Becky Lynch arriving, where commentary tells us that the main event of this show will be a steel cage match for that Raw Women's Championship. And oh boy, howdy. Anyway, no spoilers. After that, Ludwig Kaiser demands all of our gratitude for the Ring General and the King of the Ring, Gunter. I've missed saying it, and I've never been this pumped for a Raw's beginning before. Das Ring General comes out holding the crown like a prize. I appreciate that. He somehow has made this prestigious thing even more prestigious. After soaking in the boos and the "We Want Randy" chants from the crowd, he talks about how he defeated Orton and became King of the Ring. And he talks about how he's earned the right to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam. Starts to talk about Priest and how he respects him for stepping up and taking responsibility, similar to how Gunter did when he won the Intercontinental Championship, and how he won the King of the Ring and stepped up and took the responsibility of making it prestigious. To kind of reiterate what I just said, he then says that the World Heavyweight Championship is lacking prestigious now, and claims that he won it by taking a shortcut, Priest did. That brought out Priest, tagged along with Finn and JD of the Judgment Day, no Dom yet. When Priest gets in the ring, Kaiser goes outside of the ring, gives it to the champ and the challenger. Priest then runs him down, saying he didn't earn that shot, he got a shortcut to the title shot, so he can't really say anything. He continues to run him down after that, then he tells him that he can teach him a lesson if needed. Gunter retorts by saying that he will challenge whoever's the champion at SummerSlam. And honestly, if the promo ended there, I would have been real disappointed. It was kind of like a cookie cutter promo. Thankfully, Gunter continues after that by asking him to teach him something, considering ever since he has arrived, nobody has been able to teach him anything in the ring. He said that he can't tell him a single thing about business, but he can teach him about this prestigious sport. He gives him an ultimatum to respect him or to challenge him. Priest tries to say something, but it gets cut off by Drew coming out, and Drew walks right past the rest of the Judgment Day without even acknowledging them. The crowd starts chanting CM Punk at Drew. Drew shuts them down immediately with that chant, then addresses the men in the ring. He tells them that he's going to be champion in 3 weeks. And you know how that goes. Gunter bows out for this conversation, leaving Drew and Priest in the ring by themselves. Drew says that JD, Judgment Day, keeps on screwing up left and right and calls Dom Dum-Dum instead of Dom-Dom. He goes on and talks about how he needs to be ready for the Clash crowd to break Priest mentally like they did Roman. Then he says he's going to give a geography lesson. It was a decent promo, but then he says that line and, quote, since they don't in America, that gets a loud USA chant and it pops Drew. You can see he kind of corpses for a second, but then he gets back to it that's saying Scotland everybody is as crazy as him and that they'll react to him that way and that he's going to take the title. He said it better than how I said it, but if he wasn't thrown off there, I think it would have been a better analogy. Priest says that getting under his skin doesn't matter. And then he mentions Drew's wife, which gets under Drew's skin. Drew tells him to choose his next words carefully. Priest says he doesn't care what her name is. I think that's what he asked. He just wanted to get under Drew's skin and see if he did anything about it. They have a stare down for a second. Then Braun interrupts them and Drew runs away. Apparently there was a match with him and JD coming up after that. But for this opening segment, 3.5 stars. Started off a little cookie cutter like I was saying, but eventually it served its purpose and it transitioned into the next match. After that, we come back from an ad break and they're in the middle of the match. Which again, I don't know if that's just how Hulu cut it for me or like how it was actually on TV, but I hate that. Don't do that. Apparently Strowman's knee was attacked during, I guess, the commercial break. The match goes on for a couple extra seconds when Finn tries to interfere, but then he gets tossed into the ring. After that, Carlito tries the same thing, making good on his promise, apparently, to watch JD's back if they watch his. It helps for a second, but ultimately Braun counters, I think, JD's comeback, whatever it was, into a tilt-a-whirl power slam off the ropes for the 3. Immediately after the match, Carlito comes into the ring and beats down on Strowman and Finn. Helps, but Braun shoves them off and then clears the ring. JD tries to hit Braun with a steel chair to the back, but Braun no-sells it. Some side notes real quick during this match. Commentary says that Carlito and Ray have a match later on tonight. And Michael Cole calls JD McDonough instead of his actual name intentionally, and that popped me. Also, I think that JD looked a little bit like Neville tonight. Alright, anyways, back to it. The crowd tells him that he effed up, and Braun smacks a chair just right out of his hand. JD runs away after that while Strowman hobbles after him. 4 stars. It was entertaining. A little back and forth. After that, we go backstage where Kathy Kelly's interviewing Liv Morgan congratulates her on her win. She then asks her if she has any remorse for how she did it. Liv says no and then runs down Becky to say that because of Dom, technically she hasn't defeated Becky one-on-one. That's why she's challenging Becky to a one-on-one in a steel cage later on tonight. 3.5 stars for her heel promo and shenanigans. Shenanigans and antics? I don't know. Shantics. Okay, we're moving on. When we come back from the break, they have a king and queen of the ring, like, news quote highlights from, like, I don't know, whenever Joe Schmo says, like, whatever great praise about that event. You know what I mean, hopefully. Then Carlito and Finn are backstage bickering when Priest comes in to shot and asks where JD is. Apparently, Braun's still chasing him around the arena. Priest asks Finn to find him and bring him back to the clubhouse. Carlito and Finn talk about where he is and then go from there. During this, I think Priest was also like, why is Carlito here? You're not a member of Judgment Day. Why are you helping? You know, something to that extent. But they brush that off. 3 stars, Rhea, please come back. Judgment Day is crumbling as we are speaking. Earlier today, we have a Braun Breaker recap package. He did something last week. That's the recap package. After that, we see Ricochet's ribs taped up. And apparently he's medically cleared to compete, according to the doc and Adam Pearce. Ricochet says he wants Braun Breaker. Then Adam Pearce says that Braun has been fined and suspended, so he's not going to be there. Dragunov then comes into shot and thanks Ricochet for saving him last week and said as soon as Ricochet's healed up, he's good to go one-on-one with him. Ricochet says that he wants him tonight. Dragunov says that he breaks people, but he doesn't fight broke people. And then Ricochet says that he's fine. Basically, he says it in a different way. After that, he tells Pearce to make it official, and I am pumped up for the match, though. 3.5 stars. It was a good backstage promo. Maybe this is what Ricochet finally needed. They have their match where a Nightbird QR pops up on the screen. More on that later. I think that's the one I wrote down. Anyway, after that, commentary acknowledges QR codes, which makes me mad. This is supposed to be a thing that... Is it happening? Is it just something we're making up? They have a stellar match that ends with the Ricochet hitting a shooting star in the air, and then after that he gets speared by Braun Breaker. Dragunov tries to fight back against Breaker, but to no prevail. Breaker spears him. Pearce comes out and chews him out, and Braun ignores him the whole time until they get to the ramp. Then he pauses and gives him a look. And I swear, if he speared him on the ramp, 5 stars right there. But he just keeps on walking and ignores him. 3.5 stars. After the ad, we get a Memorial Day hype package, and then Finn and Carlito show up to the clubhouse with Priest. Priest asks where JD is again and why Carlito is in their house. There we go. That's the one. Carlito goes off shot and then pulls JD into frame and then disappears. They have a small little group talk, and then Dom comes into shot, and Priest asks them all to leave except Dom. He asks Dom what's up and says that he's clear with Mommy. Don't worry, he's going to fix it tonight. 3.5 stars. After that, Ray with Zelina and Dragon Lee come out to do a one-on-one with managers against Carlito, like it was 2007 all over again. Except if this was 2007, I think Zelina would have been like TNA. Ray wins after Finn tries to interfere with the 619. That's how Ray wins. He hits the 619 and he drops the dime. Ray tries to have Dragon Lee splash Finn through an announce table after the match for interfering, but Carlito pulls Dragon Lee's legs down on the top and crotches him. Priest gives Dragon Lee a razor's edge from the top rope after that and then brags for a second. Ray kicks him and he's going for the 619, but I think Finn distracted him on the opposite side of the ring long enough for Priest to get up and big boot Ray in the mid-run. And God, every time Ray does that, he looks like he gets his head booted off. After that, he gives him South Side of Heaven chokeslam to end the segment with Priest standing tall over literally his own teammates. 3.5 stars. I'm going to let them cook before commenting too deep on this. After that, we see Chad Gable that is, backstage chewing out Tozawa for not being at King and Queen of the Ring to help him and demands that he explains himself. He tries to apologize, but Gable says he's not mad, he's just disappointed. Bron interrupts, Strowman that is, looking for JD, and they both tell him, I don't know. Then Otis comes in with Maxine. Gable runs her down, then tells her she's not coming out for Otis' match later on tonight, that it's not a fashion show, and he runs down Otis saying that he would be the champ right now if it wasn't for him, but says that he can redeem himself tonight in that match against Big Bronson Reed. Just don't screw it up. He then demands Otis to say that he will win tonight. It's really awkward, but intentionally by him being a heel, We then have said match where 2 big men are beating the shit out of one another. So I've already signed up for this. I love it. 20 out of 20, match of the year. Never heard of Ospreay. He doesn't exist. But yeah, they actually do have a great match. That ends after Otis gets the advantage. He tries to go for the Caterpillar, but Chad Gable gets up on the apron and tells him not to do it. After an argument, it looks like Otis is deciding to do it anyway, but then Gable gets in his face and tells him do not do it. That was enough of a distraction for Bronson to take advantage for the win. So we're going to pause this review real quick because I need to rate this match before we get into the next segment. So we're going to rate it 3.5 stars of what it could have been. If this turns into either a feud between the two, or maybe Gable turning on Otis and tutoring Bronson Reed instead, or maybe both of them being this big Colossus monster team, I'm fine. any of the three options be sick. After the match, Otis tries to leave the ring, but Chad calls him and the whole team into the ring for a meeting after the break. And then they come back. Gable's running them down for Otis, costing him the world... Sorry, not the world yet. The Intercontinental title and failing tonight. He contemplates what Otis needs to get this through to his head. For this to get through to his head, then Gable realizes what he needs is discipline. He tells them that he doesn't want to do this, but Otis made him do it. Then he takes off his belt and demands that Otis grabs the rope. He tells the rest of AA, as I am now redeeming them, to stand there and watch. He goes to whip him, but Maxine stops him by grabbing his arm. So pause, real quick, just another side note, I apologize. If they had gone through with it, like a couple times, like maybe either Otis gets like whipped a couple times real hard and then Maxine finally stops him on the third one, or maybe, I know they couldn't do this outcome due to how not PC and how not modern day this could have been, but maybe if they had him like threaten to whip her since she disobeyed him at that point and then Tozawa stepped in to save her, or something credible like that would have helped everybody instead of kind of not making sense why he stopped, then I would have been cool with that. Because you get sympathy for whoever while also showing how far he's willing to go, like, to not give a shit. But also it would have shown, like, it would give Maxine a character. Like, you know, she's willing to be a hard ass, so to speak, if it will protect her friends. But instead, Gable just chews her out and tells her to leave, which she does so for some reason. And he tells Tozawa to just stand there and watch. He almost whips him until Sammy's music stops him, and apparently that's enough to make him pause. Sammy looks at Maxine to make sure she's okay, whatever. And then Gable warns him not to get involved in this. This is Alpha Academy, AA business. Sammy steps in the ring and runs him down for always losing and blaming other people. Sammy tries to be like the voice of reason, tells Otis that it's not his fault. And at the end of the day, Gable just can't get the job done. Gable says he doesn't know what he's talking about, that he beat Sammy last week and would have Saturday if it wasn't for Otis, so now he gets his discipline. He goes to swing the belt in, but then Sammy grabs it for him. After a little tug of war, Sammy takes it and walks around with it while the crowd tells him to whoop that trick. Sammy throws the belt down and looks at Otis, who's defending Gable. Sammy asks him what he's going to do and runs him down for defending Gable still. Otis is torn at this point as Sammy pleads with him to listen to what the fans, what his heart, what everybody's telling him to do. And that's when Gable shoves him over and beats Sammy down. Otis looks torn the whole time, but ultimately when Sammy gets the advantage, Sammy gets pulled off of Gable. Sammy and Otis have a little confrontation until Gable German suplexes Sammy, starts pounding on him while talking down to him. The crowd chants, "Let's go, Otis," while Gable runs him down. After he does that, he tells Tozawa and Otis to go. Gable leaves by himself at first, and Tozawa eventually caves in. And then a second later, so does Otis. They all go up the ramp, and I love this build-up. This is a great build-up. As long as they do something off of this, I'll continue to say that. 3.5 stars for now. Commentary then wraps up everything that just happened. We transition into the Women's World Champion recap / hype. We get basically like a hype promo that says, hey, this has all happened within the past couple of months. This is where we're at. Then after that, we see Becky and Liv getting warmed up backstage right before their cage match. And I don't know if they still do this every time they have a cage match. We thankfully seldomly see gimmick matches anymore, so I don't remember the last time a cage match I've seen it. But hearing the like music popped me so much. Again, I personally haven't watched one since I think Becky took on Trish, but I think the last cage match, at least that women have had, was when Becky took on Bayley, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, I love that. I'm glad that's a thing. Anyways, after that, the title gets held up. It gets interrupted by commercial, by the way, so boo! We have a great 6-minute cage match that ends with Dom interfering by opening the door. It looks like he's trying to help Becky, but ultimately Liv takes advantage of this distraction when JD comes out, like JD and Finn JD comes out and kind of argues with him, then says it's not their issue anymore, they don't care. That prompts Braun Strowman to come out, and he runs around the around the ring, and he ends up running into Dom, who pushes the door into Becky. After that, Liv takes advantage of the distraction and crawls out the cage to escape and win. As she's walking up the ramp and the show's about to end, she plants a sloppy one on Dom, and he looks pissed off about that to end the show. 4.5 stars, great match, great angle. If this is truly Becky Lynch's last thing, which was a rumor like last week, great way to send her out. I love this Triple H era. Even stupid stories have a resolution to them at the end of a show most of the time. So thank you for this. Thank you for this. This show overall gets 3.5. 3.5. It was a decent show. Nothing of impact, but that's okay. Sometimes the main event was enough. That makes me happy. I can't wait to see what they're doing next week. Thanks for... Now I'm playing. We got a Nightbird. We got Nightbird information. So there's been more since, I guess, the last time I have talked about Nightbird. I can't promise you anything because you know how promises go here. But I'll try to do like a everything we know on Nightbird video before the next tease date of him coming to WWE, which was like June something. So anyway, I'll work on that, point taken. But for this one, I think if I pick the right day, what you can find is on the KINT Sugi, SUGI, so Kintsugi page. It's been updated with a new entry called Discipline, which, by the way, if you want to check this out, go to, I think it's WWE.com/archive. So yeah, anyway, if you click on the Discipline entry, it takes you to an entry that's titled Discipline. How many times can I say the word entry and discipline? But at the top, it's in purple. It says Discipline. Then the till writing from the page says, it is important to question in order to believe. Insert a new paragraph. I forgive you. New paragraph, underlined. PROV 131. New paragraph. PROV 155. They're both underlined because they bring to a URL. The message was in response to people who questioned him not returning at King and Queen of the Ring. By the way, when you click on the underlined messages, they're hyperlinked, by the way. One of them says, quote, it's like a notebook journal page. It says, I am the one who hears words of the red. I see the vision. We move when I say, not you. And certain words are underlined and in red. Then the second image, if you click on it, it says, patience is the road to wisdom. Have you lost your trust in me? Are you calling me a liar? Your arrogance. You know nothing. By the way, the date that I was referring to is June 17th. In case you missed it, there are 2 active, VODs, I guess, of Twitch streams on WWE's page that had this lore explained. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate you all. I hope you like the new format of like videos. Hopefully, next one won't take like a month to edit. Anyway, that's my information. All right, I'll see you all tomorrow, I think, if I did my days right, for Monday Night Raw review of the current week. Hopefully Uncle Howdy showed up, or whoever this incarnation of Bo Dallas is. Anyway, bye!